Great ethical advancement characterizes this era. The brotherhood of man is the goal of its society. Worldwide peace, the cessation of race conflict and national animosity, is the indicator of planetary ripeness for the advent of the third order of sonship, the magisterial sun. 4. Post-magisterial sun man. On normal and loyal planets, this age opens with the mortal races blended and biologically fit. There are no race or color problems. Literally, all nations and races are of one blood. The brotherhood of man flourishes, and the nations are learning to live on Earth in peace and tranquility. Such a world stands on the eve of a great and culminating intellectual development. When an evolutionary world becomes thus ripe for the magisterial age, one of the high order of avonal suns makes his appearance on a magisterial mission. The planetary prince and the material suns are of local universe origin. The magisterial sun hails from paradise. When the paradise avonals come to the mortal spheres on judicial actions, solely as dispensation adjudicators, they are never incarnated. But when they come on magisterial missions, at least the initial one, they are always incarnated. Though they do not experience birth, neither do they die the death of the realm. They may live on for generations in those cases where they remain as rulers on certain planets. When their missions are concluded, they yield up their planetary lives and return to their former status of divine sonship. Each new dispensation extends the horizon of revealed religion, and the magisterial suns extend the revelation of truth to portray the affairs of the local universe and all its tributaries. After the initial visitation of a magisterial sun, the races soon effect their economic liberation. The daily work required to sustain one's independence would be represented by 2½ hours of your time. It is perfectly safe to liberate such ethical and intelligent mortals. Such refined peoples well know how to utilize leisure for self-improvement and planetary advancement. This age witnesses the further purification of the racial stocks by the restriction of reproduction among the less fit and poorly endowed individuals. The political government and social administration of the races continue to improve, self-government being fairly well established by the end of this age. By self-government we refer to the highest type of representative government. Such worlds advance and honor only those leaders and rulers who are most fit to bear social and political responsibilities. During this epoch, the majority of the world mortals are adjuster indwelt, but even yet the bestowal of divine monitors is not always universal. The adjusters of fusion destiny are not yet bestowed upon all planetary mortals. It is still necessary for the will creatures to choose the mystery monitors. During the closing ages of this dispensation, society begins to return to more simplified forms of living. The complex nature of an advancing civilization is running its course, and mortals are learning to live more naturally and effectively. And this trend increases with each succeeding epoch. This is the age of the flowering of art, music, and higher learning. The physical sciences have already reached their height of development. The termination of this age on an ideal world witnesses the fullness of a great religious awakening, a worldwide spiritual enlightenment. And this extensive arousal of the spiritual natures of the races is the signal for the arrival of the bestowal sun and for the inauguration of the fifth mortal epoch. On many worlds it develops that the planet is not made ready for a bestowal sun by one magisterial mission. In that event, there will be a second, even a succession of magisterial suns, each of whom will advance the races from one dispensation to another until the planet is made ready for the gift of the bestowal sun. On the second and subsequent missions, the magisterial suns may or may not be incarnated, but no matter how many magisterial suns may appear, and they may also come as such after the bestowal sun, the advent of each one marks the end of one dispensation and the beginning of another. These dispensations of the magisterial suns cover anywhere from 25,000 to 50,000 years of Urantia time. Sometimes such an epoch is much shorter, and in rare instances even longer. But in the fullness of time, one of these same magisterial suns will be born as the paradise bestowal sun. 5. Post-bestowal sun man. When a certain standard of intellectual and spiritual development is attained on an inhabited world, a paradise bestowal sun always arrives. On normal worlds, he does not appear in the flesh until the races have ascended to the highest levels of intellectual development and ethical attainment. But on Urantia, the bestowal sun, even your own creator sun, appeared at the close of the Adamic dispensation, but that is not the usual order of events on the worlds of space. When the worlds have become ripe for spiritualization, the bestowal sun arrives. These suns always belong to the magisterial or avonal order, except in that case, once in each local universe, when the Creator Sun prepares for his terminal bestowal on some evolutionary world, as occurred when Michael of Nebadon appeared on Urantia to bestow himself upon your mortal races. Only one world in near 10 million can enjoy such a gift. All other worlds are spiritually advanced by the bestowal of a paradise sun of the avonal order. The bestowal sun arrives on a world of high educational culture and encounters a race spiritually trained and prepared to assimilate advanced teachings and to appreciate the bestowal mission. This is an age characterized by the worldwide pursuit of moral culture and spiritual truth. The mortal passion of this dispensation is the penetration of cosmic reality and communion with spiritual reality. The revelations of truth are extended to include the superuniverse. Entirely new systems of education and government grow up to supplant the crude regimes of former times. The joy of living takes on new color, and the reactions of life are exalted to heavenly heights of tone and timbre. The bestowal sun lives and dies for the spiritual uplift of the mortal races of a world. He establishes the new and living way. His life is an incarnation of paradise truth in mortal flesh, that very truth, even the spirit of truth, in the knowledge of which men shall be free. On Urantia, the establishment of this new and living way was a matter of fact as well as of truth. The isolation of Urantia and the Lucifer Rebellion had suspended the procedure whereby mortals can pass, upon death, directly to the shores of the mansion worlds. Before the days of Christ Michael on Urantia, all souls slept on until the dispensational or special millennial resurrections. Even Moses was not permitted to go over to the other side until the occasion of a special resurrection, the fallen planetary prince, Caligastia, contesting such a deliverance. But ever since the day of Pentecost, Urantia mortals may again proceed directly to the Urantia spheres. Upon the resurrection of a bestowal sun, on the third day after yielding up his incarnated life, he ascends to the right hand of the Universal Father, receives the assurance of the acceptance of the bestowal mission, and returns to the Creator Sun at the headquarters of the local universe. Thereupon the bestowal of Onal and the Creator Michael send their joint spirit, the Spirit of Truth, into the bestowal world. This is the occasion when the Spirit of the triumphant Sun is poured out upon all flesh. The Universal Mother Spirit also participates in this bestowal of the Spirit of Truth, and concomitant therewith, there issues the bestowal edict of the Thought Adjusters. Thereafter, all normal-minded will creatures of that world will receive adjusters as soon as they attain the age of moral responsibility, of spiritual choice. If such a bestowal of Onal should return to a world after the bestowal mission, he would not incarnate, but would come in glory with the seraphic hosts. The post-bestowal sun age may extend from 10,000 to 100,000 years. There is no arbitrary time allotted to any of these dispensational eras. This is a time of great ethical and spiritual progress. Under the spiritual influence of these ages, human character undergoes tremendous transformations and experiences phenomenal development. It becomes possible to put the Golden Rule into practical operation. The teachings of Jesus are really applicable to a mortal world which has had the preliminary training of the pre-bestowal suns with their dispensations of character ennoblement and culture augmentation. During this era, the problems of disease and delinquency are virtually solved. Degeneracy has already been largely eliminated by selective reproduction. Disease has